kitchen. So this week I've really been inspired looking around the internet at naked cakes and coloured cakes and different piping techniques. So I thought I would put all of these together in one cake and give you a nice simple cake decorating idea. Now this one would be perfect for beginners who just want to create a really pretty cake. So I'm going to be showing you how to create this pink ombre layer cake. So we've got the different colours of pink sponge sandwiched together with these really pretty layers of piped buttercream. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is prepare my sponge cake. Now I've just made a batch of my vanilla sponge cake mixture and I've separated it equally into 4 separate bowls. Now I will put a link in the description below to the recipe if you want to know exactly how I made it. But before I put these in my cake tins, I want to colour these my ombre shades. So I'm going to have all 4 of my tiers a slightly different shade of pink, which will be able to see from the outside. So I've just got some coloured food gel and this one is just in a raspberry pink colour. Now in one of the bowls I'm just going to put 4 balls of colour. In the one next to that I'm just going to put 3 and then 2 and then 1. I can then mix these up and this should give us 4 separate bowls of mixture starting from a dark pink and going to a light pink. Once all of those colours have been mixed through, here we have our 4 different shades of pink. Now I'm going to take my mixture and I'm just going to put this into a 6-inch cake tin. I'm then going to bake these in my oven. Okay, so all of the layers of cake have now come out of the oven and I've just left them on this cooling rack until they're completely cool. Now I know they're not looking very pink at the moment, so I'm just going to use my serrated knife and I'm just going to trim off the top and the bottom to level them. I've also created a circle disc of card and this one just measures slightly smaller than the diameter of the cake, and I'm just going to trim around the edge just to take off that darker cake. So as you can see, when we take off the outside of the cake, we've got this lovely pink on the inside. So once all the cakes have been trimmed, we've now got our 4 layers, starting with the darker pink and just going round to a lighter shade. So these cakes are now all ready to fill with our buttercream. Now for the buttercream, I've just made a batch which I've also split into 4. So I've coloured these in a darker pink, a medium colour pink and a lighter pink, and I've also got a lilac colour. I'm now going to fill some piping bags with my buttercream. Now I'm going to use 4 different piping tips to create the different effects on the layers. Now I'm going to be using all of my piping tips to create small dome-like shapes on top of my layers. So the first piping tip that I'm going to be using is this one. Now this one just has a large open circle end which measures around 1 centimetre in diameter, and that's just going to give us a nice classic smooth dome which is slightly wider at the bottom, coming up into a point at the top. The next piping tip is the 6B. Now this one is an open star tip which has quite a lot of teeth cut out, so that's going to give us a nice shape with lines running down the edge. I've then got a similar piping tip. This is the 195K, and again it has lots of teeth running around the edge, but it's slightly curved in, so we've got this closed star tip and it has slightly more teeth cut out than the previous one, so we're going to get more lines running through and a lot closer together. Now the final one that I'm going to use is the 1M. Now this has quite deep teeth and a lot less than the others, so this is going to give us a very different shape and come out as if it's like a star. Okay, so now I've got all my piping bags ready. I'm going to take my first cake. Now I'm just going to pop a small piece of buttercream just onto my cake stand to start, just so we can stick our first cake down. Now for the first cake, I'm just using the darkest of the pink ones. So I'm just going to take my first piping tip, which is the round open end piping tip. Now I'm going to start going around the edge and work my way in. Now the reason I'm going to go all over the bottom of the cake is just so you'll get the nice colours when you slice into it. Placing my piping tip above my cake, applying a small amount of pressure to the bottom of the bag to give us the diameter of our buttercream. I'm then going to pull up and stop applying pressure to give us that nice shape. I'm then going to go in with the 6B next to that. I've got the 195K and the 1M. So as you can see, the round open end tip just gives us this nice smooth shape. We've then got the 2 with the teeth. This one has slightly more and this one is slightly more open. The smaller one also just gives us this small ruffle at the bottom. I've then got the 1M that gives us this star shape. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge, doing exactly the same thing. Now they don't have to be in any kind of order, but all you do want to make sure is they're roughly the same height, and this will just mean that when the next layer goes on top, we sit in nice and straight. So there we have our first layer. Now I'm going to pop this in the fridge just for around 5 minutes, just for that buttercream to firm up slightly before we add our next layer. Okay, so once this has been in the fridge, I'm going to take the next layer of cake and just carefully place that on top. So you've got the 2 layers of sponge cake sandwiched between this really pretty piped buttercream. Now I'm going to do exactly the same as I did for the previous layer. Now when you are creating your buttercream for your cake, you want quite a nice firm buttercream just so it can take the weight from above. And again, just pop this in the fridge for another 5 minutes. Okay, so I can then add my third layer, which is just slightly lighter than the previous one. And I can go in again with my buttercream, just creating the same design. I can then pop this in the fridge for another 5 minutes before we add the final layer and just finish off the top. Okay, so now the third layer has come out of the fridge. I'm just gonna pop on my lightest cake layer. Now I can go in as I have with the others, but because this is the top, I just want to make sure that I really close out all of the gaps. So here we have the finished pink ombre layer cake. So we've got the darker pink at the bottom and the lighter pink at the top. Now, as the different layers of cake have just settled, it's pushed the buttercream down slightly, which has just given us these nice rings of textured buttercream, which has been created with the different piping tips. I really hope you enjoyed this video tutorial and will enjoy making your own version of this cake. If you have, then don't forget to give this video a like, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, then don't forget to head over to the Cake Spanners YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification bell, which will just alert you every time a new video is uploaded. So until next time, bye!